if you decide to do a project about sport, which is completely fine, that may be what you're very interested in, there are some things that you need to be really, really careful about. So, choosing your research question. When you're very passionate about a sport, it's easy to choose a question that you already know a lot about, and then it's difficult to find new research about it. Often, students as well choose a question that is really, really broad, way too big a question to find information about. So, how has the game of AFL changed over the past decade? Too much. So, choice of research question is very important. So, you need to look at your chosen sport from a new angle. There's a project here about the AFL players, and looking at something completely different. So, how has the use of GPS units influenced their performance? So, this was an excellent project. Still looking at AFL, but looking at something different within it. So, you also need to do a bit of background research to find out what is known about your field so that you can narrow your question down. Many students want to do something about nutrition, sport performance, or mindset and sport performance. So these projects tend to lead to the same findings. They're very much the same, they're not very interesting. So they may be interesting to start with, but then they become limited. So you really need to try and find a unique angle. Your research project teacher can definitely help with that. So we've seen many students start on these projects, spend weeks getting nowhere, and either they end up with a mediocre mark or they just restart. So a couple of projects that have been very successful. What is involved in designing an agility program for an elite female touch football team? So this required the person to do lots of interviews, to test out different programs, to look at existing programs and analyse them. So there was actually a lot of research in that. This one, again, an elite hockey player was looking at how does the playing surface that a player starts on affect their development as a hockey player, and there was a lot of research in that. It was a very specific question. They could interview coaches, hockey players, read articles, etc. This one are elite runners sacrificing their optimum performance of their bodies by wearing stylish footwear. So it was really combining health, podiatry with sport. So again, more to it than just a straight out sports question.